After a certain age, I was not allowed to eat chicken in my house. When I raised the question, why? Both of my parents said,
Kenna chicken is not good for your health. They are stuffed with chemicals that could potentially make you sick.
I was like, okay. But now that I have access to the internet, I come across individuals who say otherwise that convinces me that broiler chicken is actually not as bad as I imagined. Broiler chicken has a great demand due to its low cost and faster growth than other breeds of chickens, and anything that is different than normal has to be questioned. The rapid growth is due to artificial foods, such as additives and antibiotics. Roxarsone is the most common arsenic-based addictive, and long-term exposure to this addiction can cause bladder, lung, skin, kidney, and colon cancer, as well as deleterious immunological, neurological, and endocrine effects, and short-term exposure can lead to partial paralysis and diabetes, claims the Environmental Protection Agency. Why am I saying this? It turns out roxarsone is used in chicken feed. Another concern is chickens are bred in a way that they are low on immunity, so are fed with an enormous amount of antibiotics to keep up the health of the bird. This has led to an increase in bacterial strains that are resistant to antibiotics, including Salmonella. For example, if you were infected by Salmonella Heidelberg, a non-typhoidal Salmonella, a doctor would normally suggest drugs like ceftriaxone or ciprofloxacin. Sadly, due to the high levels of antibiotic usage in poultry farming, the strains of Salmonella are now showing resistance to these medicines. Also, it is estimated that Salmonella causes foodborne illnesses more than any other bacteria, and chicken is the major source. About 1 in every 25 packages of chicken at the grocery store are contaminated with Salmonella. You are at a great risk of a terrible food poisoning that could be possibly incurable, as these bacteria aren't reacting to medicines as they used to be. There is a famous claim that chickens are injected with hormones, and that's the reason why it grows faster and bulky. But it turns out to be a misconception. I'm not saying that. Researchers do. The Food and Drug Administration, also known as FDA, banned the use of hormones in poultry production by 1960. Moreover, even if they are allowed to use injecting millions of chickens each year with artificial growth hormones would be too expensive and inefficient. They would need to inject them almost every day, which would add more weight on the shoulders of factory farmers, expense, labor, and time-wise. However, some studies show consuming chicken has an impact on changes of hormonal levels in a person and may be related to a higher chance of developing polycystic ovary syndrome in females. Polycystic ovary syndrome is caused due to high levels of luteinizing hormone, which affects how a woman's ovaries function, basically stopping the ovulation process, meaning the eggs in the ovary do not mature and lead to infertility. This leads to another common question. Does feeding on chicken have an impact on females getting their first period earlier than it should? No data has ever shown a specific food to affect the onset of puberty. Instead, it points to dietary patterns like a high-carb diet that causes obesity, which causes puberty to advance. Numerous studies have demonstrated that consuming soft drinks often cause early onset of puberty, as it is directly linked to obesity. Girls in Saudi Arabia are accustomed to eating poorly, which contributes to early menarche, according to earlier study findings. And another intriguing discovery is that the primary causes of rising childhood obesity in girls in early puberty are excessive meat consumption in nations like Saudi Arabia, where cola beverages, beef, French fries, and other junk foods are consumed on a regular basis. People prefer chicken that is grown in a more natural and sustainable environment with access to a diet that includes a variety of grains, insects, and other healthy sources of nutrition, unlike broiler chicken that are raised in factories with less space to roam around and heavily feed on antibiotics and additives. The different ways of raising say why country chicken is often more expensive than broiler. Pick your own option. I leave that up to you. Let me know what you prefer in the comments section. Now that we have come to the end of this video, I do not want to support one side of the argument, as my purpose of this video is to open your eyes and show everything that I researched without biases.
Here we go, Shin. Are you ready?
Dad, no!
Diving deeper into this topic has broken some of the beliefs that I carried for years, and it's really great to challenge yourself and think differently, isn't it? I hope you got that experience as well, and I highly encourage you to become a Sherlock Holmes and do your own investigation.